practice for using such kind of a test?
Just or lack of response to one is to figure out if it's viral or bacterial. So in someone who has a acute onset of symptoms a day or two, rather than treating with oral antibiotics to see if potentially that's something that could be observed, is one of the things that we're using it for. The other is for recurrent infections, just to ensure that we do have, in fact, the proper antibiotics, and we're not missing something.
Okay. And how has your experience been for these tests, especially with regards to getting a positive or a false positive or false negative test? And does this particular test really impact your treatment regime?
I think there's a lot of false positives and false negatives to these tests. I question the overall accuracy to them often, and will often end up treating patients who, even if they come back as strep negative, if they're not getting resolution of their symptoms.
Okay. And would you attribute these errors to a sampling error, or do you believe the specificity and sensitivity of these tests are not up to the mark?
I think it's a little combination of both. I think primarily it's more a test error than a sampling error, but I do think that probably exists on both sides.
Okay. Great. And from a current practice standpoint of view, do you perform any of these quick tests for acute otitis media or acute sinusitis?
I do not. Typically, we'll send cultures away and have a response, within a day or two. So we'll put them on something broad spectrum and just ensure that is, in fact, good coverage for them.
And you said you get a culture report within a day or two. Am I correct on that?
Say that one more time.
You just said that the culture reports usually comes in a day or two. Am I correct on that?
That's correct. Usually have a gram stain back in a day and cultures back in usually 48 hours, I would say.
Okay, great. So now we'll move on to the product profile. I'll just introduce the product that we have, and we want to understand your opinion and the cases in which you will be most likely to use this particular product. Shall I go ahead?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So the product that we have uses a lateral flow immunoassay technology wherein it can simultaneously detect H. influenza and Streptococcus pneumonia bacteria with an additional option of detection of M. catarrhalis as well. It has a sensitivity and specificity of...
Was the last one Enterococcus? Is that what you said?
I said H. influenza and Streptococcus pneumonia with an additional option of Moxilla catarrhalis bacteria detection as well. Okay. And it has a sensitivity and specificity of 90% with respect to a culture. And the tests are semi-quantitative in nature, which are read through a reader device. The price of the test is around $10 to $15 per strip, while the reader would cost $500. And the test duration is 15 minutes. And the sampling for otitis media is done through middle ear discharge, while for acute sinusitis, it's a nasal swab. Am I clear on the product profile?
Okay.
So just follow-up questions to that. What is your opinion on the overall product profile as compared to the other current standard of diagnosis?
I think that the sensitivity and specificity sound about the same. So about 90% is what we're typically quoted on the strep fast test. So somewhere in that same kind of percentile.
Okay.
I think I guess the biggest concern would be the ability for people to purchase the reader. Almost guarantees that people are going to use it because they're going to be worried about having a cost and then not